Hi everybody and welcome back to The Charismatic Voice. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction and comparison of some singers singing the song from The Fifth Element. This is when the diva comes out, she's the blue alien lady, and she sings notes that are just mind-blowing. That runs hard. Now, the first part of this song actually comes from an opera by Donizetti from Lucia di Lammermoor. This is from her Mad Scene, and it's just the first part of her Mad Scene. And then when it gets all funky, that's by the composer Serra. And Serra actually wrote the funky part to not be humanly singable. He specifically wanted to synthesize some of the vocal sounds in it. So for this video, I'm going to spend a little bit of time reviewing one singer who does the first part of Lucia's aria, but then I'm going to compare a few different singers and look at how they tackle this unsingable part at the end of the Diva Dance. So let's get to it. All right, first up we have Evgenia Laguna. We're going to listen to the whole thing, so both the first and the second half of hers. So that's stunningly beautiful. She has such a haunting tone quality. It's very pure. I love the way when she went up to her high note, she had so much control of her vibrato, held it fairly cleanly at the beginning and then gave a little more vibrato towards the end. If I was to offer one criticism, I'd say the Italian just isn't Italian enough. The vowels should be a lot more clean. If you've ever been to Italy, you'll know that the vowels just smack you in the face. Il dolce suono, mi colpì di sua voce. It's so clear. And when you're training in opera, you have to really get into your languages and train with coaches that know that language, that speak that language. So overall, tone quality is stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. Italian could be a little cleaner. Let's keep going. Lovely. So that run, that's a hard run to negotiate. She did a pretty good job. There were a couple notes in there that weren't pitch perfect, but really quite good. And overall, her pitch is just excellent, right? Very nice, light tone. And in this part of the original opera, it is okay to have that super light tone because the orchestration is pretty minimal. It's meant to have a sort of like ethereal, a little maybe loopy kind of sound because Lucia is mad at this point. She's gone crazy. And so I actually really like the fragility and the vulnerableness that's happening in her tone quality. I would wonder how she sounds without a microphone. I think about in opera, when people need to project to an audience of 4,000 without a microphone, they'll sing it a little bit differently. They might look for a little more resonance while trying to maintain that tone quality. But in her case, she has a microphone, so she can do what she wants. It's going to get out there to her audience just fine. Beautiful line. Ooh, that was nice. Now this is the end of that first part that is by Donizetti from Lucia di Lammermoor. She did such a fabulous job with that cadenza. The cadenza is the ending part that doesn't have any orchestra or accompaniment underneath it. And the singer's just free. She has as much space as she wants. She's not constrained to a specific rhythm. So her breaths measure the space in between each of her lines. But at the same time, she can't let that energy die. She has to keep it moving forward while giving a sense of space and keep it in that sort of ethereal, loopy area. She did such a fabulous job of that. I loved the way that she approached her top note as well. Just very, very chilling and with so much beautiful vocal control. And she had so much planning too. You can't just do a cadenza like that, free form without thinking about how long you might want that breath. Yes, you can feel it some, but you need to plan out where you're going to breathe, how long. And in addition, figure out how long is the maximum time you can hold that high note before you need to really tumble down off of it. So let's take a look now at where she goes into the alien singing that was supposedly written to be unsingable by a person. Now, this video and every other video we're going to compare after this, it's supposedly a totally live performance, no enhancements, and these singers are in the same key as the original key. Let's check it out. Love the movement and costume with it. That sounded synthesized. Woo! Get it! That was a great high note. Great coloratura there. Fantastic. Nice low notes too. That was not real. That was synthesized. All right, so down in those comments below, right now, before I give you the answer, tell me how much of that was real and how much of that wasn't real. Now, seriously, go write that, pause the video, go write in the comments, like write at what second you think maybe something wasn't real. This was sent to me as being a totally live performance, real, no digital enhancements. Of course, there's microphones and some sort of verb that's been put on. But I can tell you for sure that at least in 3 places, things were synthesized. So that means that somebody took a sampling of her voice, probably recording it, and then they played it on a keyboard instead of her singing the whole thing. However, there were some things in there that were very impressive that she sang. And you'll notice I put the music, just a video of the music, right above her video so you can take a look. When she does these really large leaps, I was impressed that she managed that. Those are huge leaps. Leaps of over an octave are just insane. So she had a lot of great accuracy there. And there were a couple times when the accuracy of the notes went down a little bit, but the really, really difficult run, that one was definitely synthesized. So I'll put in those comments below too exactly where that run happens in this video. So let's compare this very last part now to a few other performances that are live performance. Again, people say, you know, they did this all on their own. So this is Victoria. She was on The Voice for Kids in Russia, and this was her original audition song, which is pretty awesome. We're going to start right where that crazy alien music begins. Nailed that high note. That runs hard. Awesome. So for a person that young, that was really, really good. I'm also really impressed by how much warmth and there's a certain darkness to her voice in the lower registers that has so much maturity in it. Very, very mature for her age. Her high notes, she really is able to get them on point. Again, and younger singers, it's easier for them than people that are like in their 30s to really get up there and get some of those high notes. If you've heard a little girl scream, you know exactly what I mean. They're gonna be piercingly high. She is very accurate with her high notes, which is awesome. The one thing I feel that it's really lacking, that run, it's so hard. It's fast, tons of quick notes going by. She missed that one. But then she had some leaps in there. She actually adjusted the leaps that were the biggest ones to make them a little bit closer together, which is actually, it's a good decision. They're so far apart in the music, it's really, really hard to be accurate with that. And if you adjust them a little bit closer, it's gonna sound better. It's also easier when something's closer together to make it the same volume. Naturally, your high notes are going to be really, really loud, and maybe your chest tones are going to be super loud. But if you're in your low head voice, that's hard to project. And so bringing those jumps closer together is a good strategy. Let's take a listen to another person. This is Laura. She's going to sing the Diva Dance, and she's just in her home studio here. Again, says no digital enhancements on this recording. Hold for a second. You heard those big jumps? Laura just did that, and there was no digital enhancements whatsoever. She got the low notes and the high notes. Also, she has a way of projecting her voice that persuades me she has sung roles on stage in big opera houses. There's just a lot more fullness and focus to that tone quality. Like she'd be able to sing something that had a little wider orchestration underneath it and still be able to project over them. So it's extra impressive with having a little more oomph in her voice that she's able to get that high. If you go really, really high in your voice, it's harder to take all of that sound up. It's like lifting a truck versus lifting a Ferrari. Both are hard, but the truck is harder. Let's keep going. Okay, guys, that is so impressive. Of the few we've watched so far, she's the one that has nailed the notes as they were written. That's crazy. Tone quality, if you're thinking about somebody who's mic'd, you might go for a voice that's a little bit more pure, ethereal, a little more frail. Hers definitely has more strength and just a little more oomph to it. But I would like to hear this girl live without any amplification. Next one. Okay, this is Jane Zhang. She's got a full orchestra behind her. I have watched the first part of this video and she did stunningly beautiful. Go back and watch it if you'd like to see somebody really do the first aria impeccably well. I love the little staccato at the end. Okay, so far, I think that her high notes are the most clear of all of the singers we've listened to. And she just went down to this low part in her voice and still had a lot of sound. She switched to her chest voice to do that. So we'll keep going, but so far, this is probably my favorite. Okay, there's that jumping part again where it's really, really big jumps. She did rewrite it a little bit. She got one low note in there. Yeah, there was one low one, but then it sounded like she skipped one. Let's keep going. That was fantastic. I think overall, her performance, this is Jane Zhang, I think hers is my favorite. I also love having the huge orchestra behind her and the band accompanying her. Her high notes and tone quality make me think Lucia the most. Now, she rewrote a couple things in there to be a little more accurate and just be better for her voice. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think she made brilliant choices. If I were to say who did it the best, totally accurate to what the music was the music that was supposed to not be singable, I think that Laura really nailed the notes most closely to the original music, but I think that Jane was the smartest about how she shifted it just a little bit to be right for her voice and then delivered the best overall performance. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below. Ask me tons of questions too. I love, love, love talking about the scenes. It's one of my absolute favorite scenes where opera is in current multimedia. So I want to talk about it. I'll be posting links to all of these videos down below, as well as some additional information like a PDF link to the actual musical notation. So make sure to check that out. And don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on the notifications if you want to hear about videos that are coming up. Thanks for listening.